Every morning you're presented with a choice. You can stay nestled in your bed, clinging to the comfort of your dreams, or you can rise and start chasing them. Think about that for a moment. Every single day begins with this quiet decision, and though it may seem small, it sets the tone for everything that follows. Do you hit the snooze button, roll over, and let time slip away? Or do you rise with a sense of purpose, ready to take ownership of your day, your goals, and your life? Most people struggle to get up early because they don't truly understand what they're giving up. They convince themselves that 5 more minutes won't hurt, that they'll still have time. But those 5 minutes turn into 10, then 20, and before they even realize it, the morning has escaped them. They end up rushing, frazzled, already behind before the day has properly started. That's not just a habit, that's a mindset. A mindset of delay, of avoidance, of putting comfort before progress. And that mindset, if left unchecked, becomes the very thing that keeps them stuck in the same cycle day after day. Now, I won't pretend that waking up early is easy. It's not. The warmth of your blanket, the softness of your pillow, the quiet pull of sleep, all of it calls to you in those early moments. It tempts you to stay, to close your eyes just a little longer, to delay the discomfort of rising. But here's the truth. The people who achieve real success in life don't make decisions based on what's comfortable. They don't give in to temporary ease at the expense of long-term growth. They wake up early not because it feels good in the moment, but because it puts them ahead. They know something most people overlook. Early mornings are a secret weapon. They hold a power that's hard to explain until you've truly experienced it. It's a time for clarity, for focus, for intention. A time when the world is still, distractions are silent, and your mind is at its freshest. In those early hours, you are free from noise, free from demands, free to think, to create, to move forward without resistance. You are not reacting to the world. You are choosing how to shape your place in it. Today, I want to show you why this one habit, waking up early, has the power to change your life. I'll walk you through how to make it easier, how to shift your mindset, and how to turn your mornings into your most powerful tool for personal success. But before we get into the strategies, we need to understand something deeper. There's something almost mystical about the early morning. It's more than just extra time in your day. It's a moment of peace that belongs only to you. While the rest of the world sleeps, there's a silence in the air that clears your mind and sharpens your focus. There are no emails flooding in, no calls demanding your attention, no responsibilities pulling you in 100 directions. It's just you, fully present, fully in control. And most people miss this. They see early mornings as a burden, something they're forced to endure. They groan at their alarm clocks, stumble through their routines, and resent the very hours that could give them the most. But what if you saw those early hours differently? What if you saw them as a gift, a head start, a chance to begin your day with intention and peace rather than chaos and rush? Think about how most people start their mornings. They wake up late, reach for their phone the second they open their eyes, scroll through notifications, and immediately flood their minds with noise. They scramble to get ready, already stressed, already overwhelmed. They're reacting before they've even had a chance to breathe. And that reactionary start follows them through the rest of their day. Now compare that to someone who wakes up early. They open their eyes slowly, stretch, drink water, maybe spend a few minutes reading, journaling, or moving their body before the sun even rises. They take time to plan their goals, to set their intentions, to move with calm and clarity. Who do you think is better prepared to face the day? Who do you think is building something meaningful day by day, morning by morning? The difference is undeniable. Waking up early doesn't just add hours to your day, it gives you back control. It puts you in the driver's seat. Instead of being pulled in every direction by outside forces, you begin from a place of stability, of purpose. And that energy, that focus, carries with you long after the morning ends. There's also something incredibly powerful about the mental clarity that comes in those early hours. When you wake up before the noise of the world starts, your mind is undisturbed. It's in a state of openness, ready to absorb, ready to create, ready to solve. It's the perfect time for deep thinking, for problem solving, for dreaming bigger than you did the day before. That's why so many of the world's most successful people swear by early mornings. It's not just about productivity, it's about access to themselves, to their thoughts, to the calm focus that drives real progress. Whether it's writing, planning, strategizing, or simply sitting in stillness, those early hours hold something sacred. They offer the kind of mental space that the rest of the day rarely allows, and when you tap into that space again and again, something begins to shift. Your goals become clearer, your actions become sharper, your days become more intentional, and your life begins to change. Not all at once, but steadily, consistently, powerfully. Morning by morning, choice by choice. Of course, waking up early by itself isn't a magic fix. It's powerful, yes, but only when you use that time with purpose. When you do, the difference is undeniable. Your days don't just feel longer, they become more intentional, more focused, more meaningful. You stop drifting through your routine and start living with direction. You're no longer reacting to the day as it comes. You're shaping it, steering it, owning it. If you've never truly experienced the magic of early mornings, you're missing out on one of life's most overlooked advantages. Just try it for a week. Wake up before the noise, before the traffic, before the notifications. Step outside and feel the air, fresh, cool, undisturbed. Listen to the silence. Breathe it in. There's a stillness that brings clarity, a calm that gives you space to reconnect with yourself. And once you feel it, that shift in energy, that sense of control, you won't want to go back to how things were. Now, let's talk about how to use those precious early hours effectively. Because waking up early is only the beginning. What you do with that time is what actually creates change. It's not just about being awake, it's about being intentional. A lot of people start waking up early, but end up wasting those quiet hours doing things that drain them. Scrolling through social media, lying in bed, getting caught in meaningless distractions. And that's not what those moments are for. Those moments are a gift, a head start, a clear runway to prepare yourself mentally, physically, and emotionally for the day ahead. The most successful people in the world don't rise early just to say they did. They rise with purpose. They have a system, a ritual, a structure that allows them to enter the day sharp, grounded, and focused. They understand that the way you begin your day sets the tone for everything that follows. If your morning is clear and intentional, that momentum carries you forward. But if it begins in chaos, the rest of the day tends to unravel with it. So how do you use your mornings in a way that truly supports your growth? It comes down to structuring them around 3 key areas. Wake up your body, feed your mind, and plan your day. These 3 pillars work together to unlock your full potential before most people have even opened their eyes. First, wake up your body. Your body is a machine, and like any machine, it needs activation. If you don't move it, it stays sluggish. Movement is the fastest way to energize yourself, and it doesn't have to be complicated. Stretching, yoga, a quick workout, or even a walk around the block can make a huge difference. Muhammad Ali, one of the greatest athletes in history, had a disciplined morning routine that included running before sunrise. He believed that while others were sleeping, he was gaining ground, building an edge that made him unbeatable. That's the mindset. You're not just moving for health. You're activating strength, confidence, and momentum. Even if you're not an athlete, you need that energy. Physical movement early in the day doesn't just get your blood flowing, it boosts your mental clarity, improves your focus, and strengthens your discipline. The second step is feeding your mind. What you choose to consume first thing in the morning has a huge impact on your mindset. If you start your day with negativity or mindless scrolling, you're filling your head with noise before you've even had a chance to think clearly. Instead, choose to nourish your mind with something meaningful. Take Warren Buffett, one of the most successful investors in the world. He spends hours every morning reading before doing anything else. He knows that learning and reflection are invaluable investments. Now, you don't need to spend hours. Even 10 to 15 minutes of focused reading each morning can open your mind and expand your perspective. Read something inspiring, educational, or insightful. If reading isn't your thing, try journaling. Writing down your thoughts, your ideas, or even just your intentions for the day can clear mental fog and sharpen your focus. Thomas Edison, the legendary inventor, filled journal after journal with thoughts and concepts. It helped him organize his mind, track his ideas, and bring his visions to life. When you write your thoughts down, you're not just thinking, you're creating. You're turning vague feelings into tangible action. The final step is planning your day with intention. Too many people wake up and dive straight into their to-do list or whatever task screams the loudest. But when you take just a few minutes each morning to think about what truly matters, everything changes. Ask yourself, what are the 3 most important things I need to accomplish today? What absolutely must get done, no matter what? Oprah Winfrey, one of the most powerful and influential women in the world, starts her day with stillness and intention. She reflects, visualizes, and aligns herself with her purpose before she ever engages with the outside world. She doesn't leave her day to chance. She creates it. And that's the mindset you want. When you plan your day with intention, you avoid getting caught up in distractions. You move through your hours with clarity. You're less likely to be pulled off track by random tasks and more likely to focus on what actually moves you forward. Because when your morning has meaning, your entire day takes on a different shape. And when you repeat that day after day, your life begins to transform, not by force, but by deliberate, focused effort that begins the moment you wake up. This 3-part system, moving your body, feeding your mind, and planning your day, is the foundation of an effective morning. And no, it doesn't have to take hours. Even if you commit just 30 to 60 minutes to these steps, you'll begin to notice a shift. What matters most is consistency. The impact won't hit you in one day, but give it a few weeks and you'll start to feel it. Over time, these simple morning habits build on each other. They compound into focus, discipline, productivity, and a deeper sense of control over your life. So tomorrow, when that alarm goes off, don't waste the opportunity. Move your body, feed your mind, set your plan. Treat your morning like the launch pad it is, because when you use it wisely, it will take you further than you ever imagined. Now let's talk about the mindset of an early riser, because waking up early isn't just about getting out of bed, it's a declaration. A quiet but powerful statement that says, I own my time, I own my life. It's easy to hit snooze, to delay, to wait for some perfect moment to start showing up for yourself. But that moment doesn't exist. All you have is now. And if you want to build something meaningful, whether it's a career, a dream, a better version of yourself, you need to train your mind to take action, not make excuses. The difference between people who rise early and those who don't isn't just about how many hours they sleep. It's how they think. Early risers don't view waking up as a burden. They see it as a window of opportunity, a sacred space before the world wakes up and starts making demands. They understand that getting up early isn't about losing rest. It's about gaining time, gaining clarity, gaining control. Look at some of history's most impactful people. They didn't wait for perfect conditions. They created structure, built discipline, and owned their mornings. Steve Jobs, for instance, treated his mornings with reverence. He would look in the mirror and ask himself, if today were the last day of my life, would I be happy with what I'm about to do? That question kept him aligned, focused, and willing to cut out anything that didn't matter. That's what mornings give you. A chance to check in, to realign, to lead your day rather than be led by it. But here's the challenge. Your mind will resist. It will whisper to you that the bed is warm, that 5 more minutes won't matter, that you'll start next week. And that's where most people lose. They wait to feel motivated. They listen to comfort instead of committing to growth. But motivation is fleeting. Discipline is what changes lives. Take someone like Jocko Willink, the former Navy SEAL known for waking up at 4:30 a.m. every single day. Not because it's easy, not because it's fun, but because discipline gives him the edge. While the world sleeps, he's already trained, already thinking, already ahead. That's what the early riser's mindset is all about. Doing what most won't, so you can live like most never will. But this kind of discipline doesn't appear overnight. It's built one small win at a time. And it starts the moment your alarm goes off. In that instant, you have a choice, snooze or rise. In that tiny window, you're either strengthening your discipline or weakening it. Discipline is a muscle, and the more you use it, the stronger it becomes. That's why top performers, elite athletes, and military leaders all value their mornings. They understand that how you begin your day shapes everything else. But make no mistake, being an early riser isn't just about productivity. It's about creating space for yourself before the noise of the world takes over. It's about starting your day from a place of peace, focus, and self-respect. Maya Angelou, one of the most celebrated writers and poets, had a morning routine built on solitude. She would wake early, head to a quiet space, and write for hours before the world could interrupt her. That silence wasn't just a preference. It was the soil where her creativity bloomed. Your morning can be the same, a place where your thoughts grow, your goals take root, and your future starts to take shape. So what about you? What kind of life are you building? Are you content staying in the same routine, hitting snooze, rushing through your mornings, and letting your days blur together? Or do you want more? Do you want to wake up with intention, rise with purpose, and start leading your life instead of just reacting to it? The good news is, you don't have to be a so-called morning person to become an early riser. No one is born that way. It's not a personality trait, it's a habit, a decision, a commitment you train, strengthen, and grow over time. And it all begins with one moment. Tomorrow morning, when the alarm goes off, you'll have a choice: comfort or discipline. The bed will feel warm, the resistance will be real, your mind will try to negotiate. But if you rise anyway, if you show yourself that you're stronger than the excuses trying to hold you back, something will shift. You'll start to see mornings not as something to survive, but as something to claim. You'll stop drifting and start deciding. You'll stop waiting and start building. And when that happens, everything changes. You begin showing up for yourself, not once in a while, but every single day. You become the kind of person who doesn't just talk about goals, but actually does the work. So ask yourself, who do you want to be? Someone who sleeps through their potential, or someone who rises early and reaches for it? The choice is yours. Train your mind to be strong. Push past the resistance, and soon, waking up early won't feel like a burden. It'll feel like a privilege. Now let's talk about something even deeper: the power of solitude in the morning. In a world overflowing with noise, demands, and distractions, finding just a few moments of peace has become a rare gift. Most of us wake up straight into chaos. Notifications buzzing, messages demanding attention, responsibilities already piling up before we've even had time to breathe. But there's a brief window of time when all of that is still quiet. A moment before the world begins to pull you in 1,000 directions. That moment lives in the early morning, and in it you'll find one of the most powerful advantages you could ever claim: solitude. Solitude isn't just about being alone. It's about carving out space for yourself. Space to think clearly, to breathe deeply, to check in with your thoughts before the noise of the world drowns them out. When you rise before the world, you step into a kind of clarity that's hard to find later in the day. Your mind isn't yet cluttered. Your focus is pure. And in that stillness, you're able to hear yourself again. This is why so many of the world's greatest thinkers, creators, and leaders embraced morning solitude. Albert Einstein was known for his long, quiet morning walks, time he used to let his thoughts roam freely. He once said, "The monotony and solitude of a quiet life stimulate the creative mind. That freedom to think without interruption led to some of the most important breakthroughs in history." And he wasn't alone. Leonardo da Vinci understood the power of solitude too. He once said, "If you are alone, you belong entirely to yourself." In the early morning, that's exactly what you get. Complete ownership of your time, your thoughts, your energy. Solitude allows you to pull away from the noise and expectations of others and ask the questions that actually matter. What do you want? What are your priorities? Where are you going? These are questions that don't get answered in the rush of a busy day. They need stillness, they need space, they need silence. And in our modern world, solitude is often misunderstood. We confuse being alone with being lonely, but they are not the same. Loneliness is a lack of connection. Solitude is a source of strength. It's a tool for growth. It's how you realign with your values, your goals, your direction. But solitude in the morning isn't just for poets or scientists or artists. It's for anyone who wants more out of life. Imagine waking up early before the world asks anything of you. Imagine having time just for you. No emails, no rushing, no noise. Time to reflect, time to breathe, time to plan, to center yourself, to remember what matters. That kind of morning doesn't just change your day, it changes your life. Consider Kobe Bryant, one of the greatest basketball players to ever live. He was known not just for his talent, but for his mindset, the Mamba mentality. A mindset rooted in discipline, focus, and the drive to be better every single day. While the world was still asleep, Kobe was already awake in the gym, training in silence. His mornings were sacred. He used that time not only to work on his body, but to be alone with his thoughts, to visualize success, to reflect and refine. That solitude gave him something most people never tap into: a quiet edge, a deeper level of focus. a connection to his purpose that couldn't be shaken by noise or distraction. But here's the truth. You don't need to be a world-class athlete to benefit from early morning solitude. Just 10 or 15 minutes of silence can shift everything. It can change how you feel, how you think, and how you respond to the world around you. In those quiet minutes, you can meditate, journal, breathe deeply, or simply sit in stillness. You can center yourself before the day begins. You can listen to your thoughts, to your heart, to what truly matters. The problem is, most people avoid solitude. They fear silence because it forces them to face themselves. So they fill their mornings with noise, scrolling, talking, rushing, anything but sitting still. But silence is where growth begins. It's where you face your fears, your doubts, your dreams. It's where you gain clarity, direction, and inner strength. Some of the world's greatest leaders understood this. Mahatma Gandhi, a man who led with peace and power, started every day in silence. He believed that if he didn't take time to align with himself, he couldn't lead others effectively. He knew that clarity doesn't come from chaos. It comes from calm. The same is true for you. If you don't claim those first moments of the day, the world will take them from you. You'll be pulled in every direction, distracted, overwhelmed, exhausted before noon. But if you begin your morning with solitude, you take control. You start strong, with a clear head, a grounded heart, and a purpose that can't be shaken. So how do you practice this? You don't need an hour, a perfect setting, or a long routine. You just need to start. Wake up 15 minutes earlier. Before touching your phone, take a breath. Sit with yourself. Journal your thoughts, your goals, your worries, your ideas. Go for a slow walk and let your mind wander. Meditate, even if it's just for a few minutes. Let the noise settle. Let your mind breathe. Because solitude in the morning isn't about isolation. It's about empowerment. It's about building a foundation of peace and clarity before the world rushes in. It's about showing up to your day ready, not reactive, but intentional. So tomorrow morning, before the notifications start and the noise kicks in, take a few quiet minutes just for you. In that stillness, listen. That's where strength is built. That's where clarity lives. That's where success begins. Now let's talk about what the most successful people in the world do with their mornings. Because success doesn't happen by accident. It's not luck, and it's not just raw talent. It's built slowly and deliberately through consistent habits practiced with discipline and purpose. And if you look closely, you'll notice one thing they almost all have in common: a structured morning ritual. These routines aren't rushed. They're not reactive. They're intentional, designed to create focus, momentum, and control before the outside world begins to make demands. Take Benjamin Franklin, one of the sharpest minds in history. Each morning, he began his day by asking himself a powerful question: what good shall I do this day? That one question gave his day meaning before it even began. He followed it with reading, planning, and light exercise. Simple habits practiced with intention. And it wasn't his intellect alone that made him great. It was his discipline, his structure, and his morning mindset. And he's not alone. Across every field, from CEOs to athletes to creators, the highest performers follow morning rituals that prepare them mentally, physically, and emotionally for the day ahead. Let's look at the key habits they share and how you can use them to set your own foundation for success. One of the most powerful habits shared by high achievers is waking up with purpose. They don't hit snooze over and over. They don't delay the day before it even starts. The moment the alarm rings, they get up. And while it may seem like a small act, it sets a powerful tone. Because when you begin your day by giving into just 5 more minutes, you're not just delaying your morning. You're reinforcing a pattern of hesitation, of avoidance. But when you rise immediately, you're telling your mind, I lead, I don't wait, I act. That decision ripples into every other area of life. Take Howard Schultz, former CEO of Starbucks. He starts his day at 4:30 a.m. with a strict but intentional routine. He exercises, reflects, and enjoys his first cup of coffee while reviewing his goals. That structure gives him clarity and control long before he steps into the demanding world of business. Another essential habit is physical movement. High performers know that your energy is everything. If your body is tired and stagnant, your thoughts will be too. That's why some of the most successful minds in the world prioritize exercise before anything else. Barack Obama, even during the intense years of his presidency, made it a point to work out every morning. He understood that taking care of his body meant sharpening his mind and strengthening his ability to lead. You don't need an hour at the gym. Even 10 minutes of movement, stretching, walking, light exercise can wake up your system, increase focus, and build lasting discipline. Just as they fuel their bodies, successful people also feed their minds. What you allow into your thoughts first thing in the morning affects everything that follows. They don't start their day scrolling through social media or reacting to messages. They begin by learning, growing, expanding. Bill Gates, co-founder of Microsoft, dedicates time each morning to reading. Books, articles, research. He fills his mind with new ideas and fresh perspectives. To him, learning isn't a task, it's a lifelong advantage. And if one of the busiest, most accomplished people on the planet can find time to read, so can you. But morning rituals aren't only about being productive. They're about finding balance. Mental clarity and emotional strength are just as important as physical energy or intellectual growth. That's why many high performers turn to silence, meditation, prayer, or journaling. Mahatma Gandhi, who carried the weight of a movement that changed history, never let stress define his state of mind. Every morning he sat in stillness. He believed that without grounding himself first, he couldn't lead others with clarity and compassion. That same truth applies today. When you start your morning by centering yourself, you move into the day calm, focused, and ready. Another cornerstone of a powerful morning is visualization, seeing your success before it happens, reconnecting with your goals and mentally stepping into the person you're becoming. Arnold Schwarzenegger, long before he was a global icon, used this practice every morning. He visualized himself winning titles, acting in films, stepping into positions of influence. He saw it in his mind before the world ever saw it happen. And by doing so, he trained himself to move with intention and confidence. But here's what matters most. Your morning routine doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to mirror anyone else's. The goal isn't to copy, it's to create, to design something that serves you. A great morning routine is simple. Wake up with purpose, no snooze, no delay. Move your body just enough to energize your system. Feed your mind, read, reflect, or listen to something that lifts you up. Center yourself, journal, meditate, or pray, and then plan. Set clear priorities before the distractions of the day begin. You don't need to do it all at once. Start small. Pick one or two habits that resonate with you and stick with them. With time, your routine will grow, and so will you. Because success isn't built in a single moment. It's shaped in the quiet, repeated actions you take every morning. So tomorrow, instead of rushing headfirst into a day without direction, take a step back. Begin with intention. Build a routine that fuels your mind, body, and spirit. And watch how your life begins to transform. Quietly, powerfully, one morning at a time. Waking up early sounds inspiring when you talk about it, but when the alarm rings before the sun rises, that's when the real battle begins. The bed feels warm. Your body feels heavy. Your mind tells you, just 5 more minutes. And before you know it, those 5 minutes turn into 30, and your entire morning routine is gone. This is the moment where most people fail, the moment when comfort and commitment go head to head. Because waking up early isn't just about setting an alarm. It's about shifting your habits, your mindset, and the way you approach your nights as much as your mornings. One of the biggest myths people believe is, I'm just not a morning person. But that's not a fact, it's an excuse. No one is born a morning person. It's not a trait, it's a training. It's something you build through repetition and discipline. If you've been waking up late for years, your body is simply used to it. But just like with any routine, you can rewire it. Look at someone like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. He wakes up at 4 a.m. every day to train before the world even stirs. Do you think he always feels like doing it? But he's trained himself to move past excuses because he knows what he's working toward. That's the mindset that separates early risers from everyone else. They don't wait to feel ready. They move anyway. Another common obstacle is staying up too late. A lot of people want to wake up early, but they sabotage themselves by scrolling through social media, watching shows, or procrastinating on sleep. The truth is, you can't have it both ways. If you want to rise early, you need to respect your nights. Tim Cook, Apple's CEO, wakes up at 3:45 a.m. But the reason he can sustain that isn't just because of willpower. It's because he goes to bed early. He understands that sleep isn't optional. It's a tool for performance. Many people burn themselves out thinking sleep is a luxury, when in reality, sacrificing it only makes you less productive, more distracted, and mentally foggy. If you're serious about becoming an early riser, you have to build a solid nighttime routine. Set a consistent bedtime that allows for at least 6 to 8 hours of rest. 1 hour before bed. Start winding down. Dim the lights. Put the screens away. Read a book, journal, or reflect. Your body needs signals that it's time to rest. And the more consistent you are, the more natural early rising becomes. Then comes the feeling of grogginess. That heavy, sluggish sensation the moment you open your eyes. It's easy to mistake it for needing more sleep, but what you're feeling is actually called sleep inertia, and it's normal. Even the most disciplined early risers feel it. The difference is they don't let it stop them. One of the simplest ways to beat it is to move immediately. As soon as the alarm rings, sit up, put your feet on the floor, take a deep breath and move. Stretch, drink cold water, take a quick shower. The point is to tell your brain, we're awake now. A small change that makes a massive impact is placing your alarm across the room. If it's next to your bed, you'll snooze it without thinking. But if you have to stand up to turn it off, you're already in motion, and that momentum makes all the difference. But here's something most people overlook: having no reason to wake up. If there's nothing meaningful or exciting waiting for you in the morning, your brain won't be motivated to get out of bed. That's why it's so important to create a reason. Richard Branson, founder of Virgin Group, wakes up at 5 a.m. every day, but not to dive straight into business. He starts with things that energize him: exercise, time with family, things that make him feel alive. That's the secret. When your mornings are filled with something you enjoy, it no longer feels like a punishment. It becomes something you look forward to. If you're struggling to find motivation, schedule something meaningful right at the start of your day. Read a book you love. Journal your thoughts. Work on a personal project. Enjoy coffee in peace. Whatever fills your cup, put that at the beginning of your morning. Don't just wake up for obligations. Wake up for yourself. And perhaps the biggest challenge of all, people give up too soon. They try for a few days, maybe a week, and when it gets hard, they stop. But like any habit, becoming an early riser takes time. It takes patience. It takes choosing discipline over comfort again and again. But with every morning you get up, even when it's hard, you build something powerful inside you. You build momentum. You build self-trust. And eventually you stop seeing early mornings as a chore and start seeing them as a gift. Many people try waking up early for a few days, struggle with it, and then give up. But becoming an early riser isn't something that happens overnight. It's a habit that needs to be built step by step. And like any meaningful habit, it takes time, patience, and consistency. Instead of making a dramatic shift from waking up at 8 a.m. to suddenly forcing yourself out of bed at 5 a.m., start small. Wake up just 15 to 30 minutes earlier each week. These gradual changes are far more sustainable and less likely to trigger burnout. Give your body time to adapt. Let your mind adjust. Before you know it, you'll have built a rhythm that feels natural instead of forced. And here's something that makes all the difference: accountability. If self-discipline is something you struggle with, don't try to do it all alone. Find a way to stay accountable. Tell a friend or family member about your goal. Set up a morning check-in where you send a quick message to prove you're up. Use a habit tracking app to measure your progress and keep your motivation high. The more layers of accountability you add, the more likely you are to follow through, even on the mornings when your willpower feels weak. Because waking up early isn't just about gaining time, it's about gaining control. It's about proving to yourself that you lead your actions, your habits, your life. The truth is, the battle against the alarm clock is won the night before. It's won through the decisions you make about your sleep schedule, your evening habits, and your mindset. So ask yourself honestly, what's really holding you back? Are you truly not a morning person, or have you just never trained yourself to be one? Are your challenges external, or are you clinging to old excuses that keep you in your comfort zone? The good news is you can change. You can become the person who rises early, takes charge of their time, and starts the day with direction. But that transformation begins with a single choice: the choice to stop waiting and start acting. Tomorrow morning, when the alarm goes off, don't hit snooze. Don't let comfort win. Get up, Move. Take control. Show yourself that you're stronger than the voice telling you to stay in bed. Because once you master your mornings, you start mastering your life. The way you begin your day sets the entire tone for how it unfolds. A strong, focused morning creates momentum, and momentum fuels progress. On the other hand, a rushed, distracted start leads to stress, poor decisions, and lost time. This is what's called the ripple effect, where one small decision in the morning leads to another, and before long you're either building a productive, purposeful day or watching it slip through your fingers. Imagine two people waking up at the same time. One grabs their phone immediately, scrolls mindlessly for 20 minutes, then scrambles to get ready, already feeling behind. The other wakes up with intention, stretches, drinks water, and takes a few quiet moments to breathe and set their mindset. Which one do you think is stepping into the day with clarity and control? The ripple effect works in both directions. A strong start can lead to more focus, more accomplishment, more energy. But a weak start can drag your mindset down and turn your entire day into a struggle. The smallest choices, whether or not you get out of bed immediately, whether or not you exercise, whether or not you set clear goals, shape your entire day, and over time, shape your life. Take Margaret Thatcher, former Prime Minister of the UK. She was known for waking at 5 a.m. to read, reflect, and prepare. That extra time gave her the clarity and strength to make high-stakes decisions with confidence. Her mornings didn't just start early, they started with purpose. And that focus rippled into every action she took throughout the day. This is why successful people don't just focus on waking up early, they focus on what they do with those early hours. Consider something as simple as making your bed. It may seem trivial, but as Admiral William H. McRaven said in his famous speech, if you want to change the world, start by making your bed. That small win first thing in the morning creates momentum. It sets a tone of accomplishment. One task completed leads to another. And before you know it, your whole day is driven by progress. It's not about the bed, it's about the discipline it represents. The same is true for movement. When you begin your morning with physical activity, whether it's stretching, running, or a quick home workout, you boost your energy, sharpen your focus, and build mental resilience. Haruki Murakami, one of the most celebrated authors of our time, includes running as part of his daily morning ritual. He believes it clears his mind, enhances his creativity, and allows him to write with clarity and flow. That's the power of momentum. When your body feels strong, your mind follows. Even your mental input has a ripple effect. If you start your day immersed in negativity, scrolling social media, reading bad news, complaining, you're priming your brain for stress and distraction. But if you begin your morning with gratitude, reflection, or uplifting reading, you're setting yourself up for positivity and clarity. These small moments of intention shape the energy you bring to your work, your relationships, and your goals. In the end, your morning is your launch pad, and how you launch determines how high you'll fly. One intentional choice creates the momentum for another. And day by day, those ripples turn into waves of lasting change. If you are still here reading these words and you feel them echo in your chest, then leave 100 in the comments so I know you are one of the few who truly get it, the ones ready to rise on purpose, to grow without asking for permission, to stop wishing and start building. Piece by piece, day by day, habit by habit, keep going. Keep shaping your life into something you are proud to stand inside, because you are not finished. You are only just beginning. Remember, only you decide how limitless you are.